Morning all. A few weeks ago I was out in Barcelona on the launch of the Royal Enfield Gorilla, and I met a gentleman called Alex who just so happens to be the owner of the Classic Motorcycle channel. We got along very well, and I said to Alex, if you ever need someone else to jump on some of your videos, just let me know. So a couple of days ago Alex got in touch and said we've currently got a brand new 800 Suzuki V-Strom DE and also, interestingly, a 1991 Suzuki adventure bike, 800cc. Would you like to come out and do a bit of off-roading with me? So I thought, well, this is an opportunity I can't refuse. The opportunity to have two Suzuki adventure bikes, separated by 33 years, all insured, ready to go. I don't need to do any paperwork, and we get to put them side by side and see what they're both like off-roading, especially after I've just had the Ducati Multistrada. Well, I can't wait. So of course I agreed. Alex is 1 hour away, just inside the M25, so it's bright and early, 7:20. I'm about to go downstairs, get ready and meet Alex. But before I go, I'll do a quick shout out for Quadlock. This has been a channel sponsor for quite a while now, and I realise how much stuff I actually use my Quadlock gear for. Not just for my motorbike. This is the mirror mount that I've just put on. I like this because it moves my phone away from my Speedo, so everything's in clear sight. So that's what I put on at 11 p.m. last night. But it's everything around lifestyle that works so well with Quadlock. This, for example. I take this everywhere with me, and for those who watch my Tuesday at Dobbs podcast will know this is what I use to hold my phone on when I'm doing my podcast. It's also got wireless charging on the bottom, and it's excellent for travel. Many other things, just like my camera mount there that's filming me at the moment, that's being held on with a Quadlock adapter, and things like this, a little tripod that just folds up flat. There are so many brilliant options, and I'll show you one more. This I'll be taking with me as well. That just clips onto the back of my phone. That is a battery pack from Quadlock. So I'm fully loaded with all the Quadlock stuff. If you're interested in any of those things, go and check them out. Their stuff is superb. Let me show you one other thing as well. Because we're doing off-roading, I want to try and make sure I've got the lightest possible gear, because it's 25 degrees today and off-roading's hot. It's hard work. There's a bit of manhandling, stuff like that. So I'm actually taking out this, which is my Botex Under Armour. That's all I'm probably going to be wearing while off-roading, and I think that's probably the best solution, so I won't overheat like I did when I tried off-roading the Ducati. I'm extremely excited. I don't really know what to expect, and key, I know Alex has done some off-roading before. I think he may even have done some semi-competitive stuff, so I'm very curious to see what's the reality of my off-roading level. Alex, thank you so much for inviting me down to have a go on these two bikes.
My pleasure.
Just introduce yourself.
Alex Rollings, director of the Classic Motorcycle channel. It's a YouTube channel. Yeah.
What have we got and what are we doing today?
Two Suzukis, 1991, 800cc single cylinder DR big, DR800 versus Suzuki V-Strom 800DE. That's a parallel twin 800cc engine in that one. From Suzuki.
Both from Suzuki.
Yeah.
This, I almost forgot to say this. This is the best story.
Yeah.
Tell the story about this bike.
Well, the story is quite simple. This bike has just come back to Suzuki. Suzuki got a call from the police in the UK. It was in a lockup somewhere, and they said, "Do you want your bike back?" And Suzuki said yes. And so this arrived back. I think it was a few years ago now, but this is basically...
How many years was it in the lockup?
Around 30 years.
30 years in a police lockup.
So in a time capsule, this thing has got less than 1,000 miles on it. So that's, for me, very rare. You don't usually see these things come up unless a collector's owned them and bought it from new and done minimal miles. So this is the holy grail of classic bikes. Something that's low miles, original condition. You'll see that I've showed you the frame before. It's like, we'll get some close-ups, but down here is spotless, not even worn off by a boot. I mean,
this is
a big deal for me.
1991 Japanese bike in this condition.
Yeah.
Do you know the fascinating thing, Alex, I found? I went online to have a look at second-hand ones of these. Mm-hmm. I found one. One. Why are they... I assumed this would be the kind of bike that would sell loads. It's a good solid workhorse, 800cc, single cylinder, one available only, and it's on eBay, and it's £4,000.
Yeah, what was the condition like?
They said, decent condition. That's it. No more than that. The interesting thing is Suzuki have a vintage parts catalogue where they provide parts for a large array of old Suzuki motorbikes. They don't provide parts for this. So if we come off this bike, for one, Suzuki don't provide parts. And secondly, there are no second-hand ones available to get parts off.
Yeah.
What's it up against?
800cc Suzuki V-Strom, parallel twin. What else do you want to know?
30 horsepower more. You've been telling me all morning better tyres.
Freddie's got knobbies today.
Yeah.
I've got like road sort of light trail tyres on mine. Yeah.
And just before we jump onto the trails, this is your finding here. Trans-European trail that I've never done before.
Yep.
Can you just walk us through that? Because that's the main thing I really want to focus on today over and above these bikes.
Yeah, so Freddie and I are doing the Trans-European Trail. So it's a trail that goes all across Europe. It goes right around the UK. And you download a GPX map for your phone. You use an app. And then you're basically following the trail. So off-road trails linked up by road sections, which is quite scenic thing to do, quite enjoyable.
We've done the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You're someone who clearly has done this before, aren't you? Have you done it competitively, off-road riding?
Raced, yeah.
Because I saw your garage when we got to yours and I met. This is the garage, the lockup of someone who knows what they're doing. Dirt bikes, dirt bike riding gear, lots of different paraphernalia all around it. This is your area. You love the dirt more than the road almost, don't you?
Much more. Yeah, road is a necessary evil, I think. Yeah.
So this is your kind of day?
Yeah.
Okay. What two other things I just want to touch upon. I've recently had the Ducati Multistrada 1158 and I tried it off-roading. I found that insanely daunting. I couldn't have fun on it. It was just too big a beast. But earlier in the year, I also had the Honda Transalp and I did off-roading on it as well as a very long ride up to North Yorkshire. And I loved that bike. This is £1,250 more than the Transalp that you've never tried, Alex.
No.
I'm curious where this sits in comparison to the Transalp and how much more fun I can have on this than I can off-roading on the Multistrada. Alex, thank you for having me.
My pleasure.
Let's hit the road.
Let's go.
2 minutes into this off-roading section and I skidded and rode into this wall. So annoying. I'll flip the camera and show you exactly what happened in a second. Slight damage to the bike. I feel awful about that. But the problem is the bike's now entered into a mode where it said lean angle detected or something like that. And it won't let us start the bike. And we're in the middle of nowhere, really, down an off-road track. So Alex has ridden off to try and get some signal to figure out how to override this. Yeah, my off-roading ability probably is nowhere near as good as I thought or hoped it would be. Here comes Alex now. Hopefully he's got some instructions on what we can do. This is what happened. Rode along here and ended up just riding into the wall. The bike's okay, but we need to figure out if we can sort the electrics out, in essence.
What are you doing now, mate?
Alex, you know what I'm doing. The problem is, Alex, you're too good a rider. This is the problem. I off-road by myself. So I'll go off on the Bonneville, I'll go off and do some off-road stuff, pootling along. But it's very different. It's really eye-opening when you go out with someone who actually knows what they're doing, because you were dancing along these parts. You gave me instructions.
You're too complimentary.
You gave me instructions on what to do, what to look out for, but still you need a lot of practice to be good. So what happened is I was coming along here, riding along here, and then I saw this bit here of mud, and I remembered what you were saying about this to try and not steer into it. And I almost knew what was going to happen, so rode along here, tried turning to get out of it, and I just rode pretty much straight into the wall. And of course, it's got this electronic thing in where it won't just let you start the bike up. The bike actually isn't too bad. I have done a few bits and pieces like this, but in general it held up decently well. Sorry, Alex. So sorry.
So we're going again, and Freddie's just creating more drama, basically.
By running off into the distance. I need to make sure my mind doesn't take over my off-roading. Back on it, dial it back 25%. I'll be fine. Alex, do you trust me?
Yeah.
Let's do it. We've done 15 more minutes riding, and we've pulled over just to have a look at what the damage is. So unfortunately, believe me, I feel awful. That will probably need a new fairing on the right-hand side. The back brake pedal is bent. Unfortunately, I've just realised that the handlebars are slightly off as well. And you can see the corner of the bike that took the brunt of it. But the Suzuki, now that we've figured out how to start it again, I have no idea why it wouldn't start initially, but now it's got itself back on track. It's spot on, and it soaks up the bumps unbelievably well. This is interesting for anyone not familiar with these off-road tracks. This way here says footpath only, no motor vehicles, and that sign says no motorbikes. But on the left-hand side, open byway to all motorcycles, and it's even got a little width identification there. But these lanes are stunning. No people around now, and it's much more open, and the scenery is beautiful.
Can you hear that as well?
A few birds, but apart from that, nothing at all.
Pain.
this gives just a bit of an idea about one of the tracks we've been on. We've been going for about 5 or 10 minutes that way. We stopped at a couple of guys who, Alex, what was the problem with the Honda?
His battery was flat and he had to get his girlfriend to come and get his battery.
To replace it?
Yeah.
Okay, so they may catch up with us, obviously judging by my speed. Alex, how are you finding it?
I love it. I love being out here.
It's a walk in the park for you. It's really annoying, isn't it? For me, this is me. I mean, close to my limits. I don't think I've ever done so much exercise on a bike. We're going to go straight forward here. I'm just trying my best to keep up with Alex, even though he's going, I think, at about 20% of his capacity.
Freddie's been going well today, but we've got a new challenge. So he's got to come around the corner here. And the tough bit here is to keep the power on as you're going up here. Once you're up there, Freddie, I think you'll be fine. But it's just this bit. There's your line. You sort of got to attack that.
Right. Alex, you push me to the limit.
You'll do it, no problem.
I had to jump in here because sometimes the camera doesn't pick up how steep something is, but that, it may not look like much. I honestly think this is just about at my limit, Alex. In fact, this is probably about 20% over my limit, so I'm curious if I'll actually be able to do this, but I'll try it. And I can hear these guys coming back. Get back a bit.
Oh, that's a good idea. Freddie's just getting a run up here.
I was coming up to that, I'm not joking. I thought, no, I can't do this, I'm going to fall off again. The roller coaster I've been on today is actually borderline unpleasant. This is the next challenge, down these pretty steep steps to get down to that next section of lane, but these are these are substantial. So you've got these wooden girders. Do you think down that bit?
So I think I would go down that section there and try and get in this rut here and straight over, and then keep going.
Okay.
Yeah. Or if you don't feel like doing that, come around the top here, and then just cruise down there, slow speed, and try and get in that rut again.
Okay. It was 2 minutes in, I think I filmed it, but the adrenaline was pumping so much. Riding for 2 minutes and I had enough. I basically swerved into a muddy wall. And then it's hard getting your confidence back after that. And then I semi-dropped it another 2 times. So I spent half of the day either under the bike or trying to pick the bike up. It's much, much harder than I thought it would be. And I have to be completely honest, I've been humbled today with off-roading because this is a 31-year-old bike. You've got no aids at all. You've been doing all of the navigating here, and your tyres are not off-road
Trail tyres.
Yeah. What's this been like, Alex, for you with regards to level? Because for me, I've never had such an intense riding experience. I've had adrenaline flowing through me. I've been sweating buckets. How does it compare for you as an experienced off-roader?
So I think this is really good as an entry-level type thing to do for you, because you get a feel for, there's some technical bits, which I think you'll show, but a lot of it's quite easy flowing, and you just got to get a feel for when the bike's going to slip or lose traction, or, you'll need correcting. But once you know what the problem areas are, I think you're all right, which you've done today.
Because I'm going down a lot of bits that I think are the hardest off-roading things I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. I'm going down rigid like that. And then I watch you come behind me and you're just basically gliding down on this whole
experience. That's all it is.
With regards to these two bikes, just your personal preference.
Yeah.
Because I've been humbled so badly now. What is your preference? Is there a huge difference between this one and this one for off-roading?
So we were chatting before and I was asking Freddie, was the ABS kicking in and was the traction control kicking in? And he said yes, and I think it was helping me. But when I ride this, I like that it doesn't have traction control, ABS, so that I can get a feel for what the bike's going to do, because if one of those things kicks in, it's going to throw me off. Which is why a lot of guys turn the ABS and traction control off those bikes when they ride them.
You like riding on the limit though. You actually enjoy,
I wouldn't say today
I think I filmed some of it, you actually enjoy putting yourself in a position where the bike loses traction on the back wheel and stuff.
Yeah.
So where I'm desperately trying to keep traction, you're desperately trying to lose traction. Okay, Alex, let's switch bikes.
Okay.
We both felt a little bit nervous when we even mentioned the idea of me riding this, because this is not as easy to get parts for as this.
Yeah, no handguards.
How do you honestly think I'll cope with this one?
You'll be fine, totally fine. Yeah.
Can you believe we've been going, I met you about 6.5 hours ago. We'll do another 1.5 hours riding.
Yeah.
That'll be like 8 hours out. I think the adrenaline's running through me so much. I haven't eaten. I'm sure I'm hungry, but the adrenaline's pumping so much, I don't even know if I'm hungry or not. Let's hit the track, but this time, because I'm on that, and I know how rare these are, I'll be even more cautious than I am on this one.
Off he goes, 1991 DR800. First time on it.
I was going up this slope at about 20 miles an hour, and I almost got bogged down in some really soft soil at the bottom. And a comparison with Alex doing it, who is, he won't admit it, a pro. He's a madman. He's crazy. First off, Alex, I'm really curious. Your point of view, having the classic motorcycle channel, comparing the classic to the modern one, for you, what's genuinely more fun when you ride both of these off-road back to back?
Probably this one, because it's and this is a class. People who have classics and who ride classics say that they prefer the more pure experience. Like this one's got heaps of rider aids, traction control, ABS, but this one doesn't have that, and it's just, you know, basic, and it gives you more feel on the trail or on the road. That's why I like it.
Do you find that because you prefer classic bikes, or because you're genuinely a good off-road rider? Because there's a difference there. I'll get to my opinion in a second, but I'm just curious on your opinion. Is it because you're a good rider that you like the purity of no aids, or is it because you like classic motorbikes?
Well, I think you've got to take it back to why I like classics, and it's because you can enjoy the ride a lot more, because I think these days the bikes are too fast and you get up to speed really quick, and that you don't really have to work for your reward. Whereas these things, you can ride them through, you know, it's challenging to choose the right gear, you know, be off-road, do the right thing, get traction in the right areas. Whereas this thing, not so much, I don't think.
For me, the fascinating thing I found, I actually found this more fun, which surprised me. Being newer, having more power, rider aids, but for a novice like me, I found this a good 30% easier to ride, and everything that goes with it, I just found it a more manageable machine. So actually, from a point of view of a novice, if I were to pick one to go out and actually have fun with, surprise myself there, it would actually be that. This is good, but you know, you really need to understand and have a feel for the older bikes, and I just feel this is just so much easier on the off-road tracks. It brings me to a point. I just wanted to very quickly touch on comparing it to the huge multi-strada that I had last week. There are a couple of bits where I dropped this back on the lanes. If I was by myself, there is no way I would ever have got that multi-strada up. Forget about all the damage I'd have done to it and all the cost that it would have cost to put it back to normal. I would be stuck there with a bike on the track, not being able to pick it up until I get two walkers who are happy to help me pick it up. It's a scary thing. Just have a look before I wrap it up, and I will finish the video here. The difference in terrain that you get. Who would have guessed that we'd be here on a sand track as well?
Yeah.
The amount of different sceneries, different villages you go through, and then you're back onto an incredible track. I haven't been able to film it because I broke my Insta360 and I left it on, and everything was bad after the crash. It all just went over my head. But you go through a beautiful village, you go to an off-road track, you go to a sandy area, thick mud, gravel, everything in between. It's so varied. Alex, you have opened up a world of biking that I didn't really understand before. So thank you so much for that.
My pleasure.
I'm going to go home now and just collapse and vegetate in front of the TV on the sofa. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching. That's it. I'll wrap it up there. Have a brilliant week, all.